Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. So we're so glad that you were able to join today. We just yesterday afternoon came across the full court documents, that have been discussed at length on Daily Mail, The Sun, and then passed around all over the internet. And the question we had was, what is Heidi's side of the story? We had that question from the beginning. And finally, we were able to go through them. And let me tell you just how tired Dawn and I are, because it was probably, 300 to 400 pages?
It was actually more than that. Yeah.
Yeah, more than that, full of just every detail you could possibly, I mean, they're court documents, right? So it's like, they have appendices and Exhibit A, and it's very lawyery, I'll say.
It's also
I think
comprehensive.
It's very comprehensive
from both sides.
From both sides. So we're here to share Heidi's side of the story, and we think it's really, 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 really important because regardless of what happened to Heidi, first of all, I know I can speak for everyone in saying that we hope that she is well and safe. That is our greatest wish in the world for Heidi right now. But secondly, she doesn't deserve what's been talked about her online, on the news. It's all been skewed significantly. And it's infuriating. It's infuriating because everyone goes through divorces. Everyone has, battles, disagreements with people. And if you only hear one side of the story, you haven't gotten the other side. And there's always another side. Okay.
And so the family is very upset as well. The members of the family we've spoken with, they would like to get her side out as well because that hasn't been aired at all.
That's right.
As far as I've seen, nobody has stood up for Heidi. And
no.
Yeah. And that's, can you imagine being her family right now?
It's horrendous. And we had an idea that maybe not everything had been discussed comprehensively in the news, but we had no idea just how skewed it's been. So we've all heard Jim's side of the story, so let's respond, shall we? So I don't know where to start, Dawn. Where to start? So first of all, how many documents did we actually get? Was it maybe somewhere around 15 or something like that?
It was around 15. Correct. From 2012 until not this most recent, but the November 5th court date is what we got. Comprehensively everything.
Everything. And how many of those documents was Heidi the petitioner? Which means she submitted the documents once. Okay? One time. So we can tell that it's been one-sided. One person has been pushing for all this to happen.
And let me just add, she has responded to every single one. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we will say that she was the one who initiated the divorce. Mm-hmm. Did you want to talk a little bit about the details around that, Dawn?
I think the details are around the beginning, the initial filing are pretty accurate, except for the fact that she's the one. Actually, she didn't file, but she's the one who wanted to file, and she didn't have enough money to file at first. Is that correct? Are you looking at
Yes.
Okay. So she asked him to file. And there are text messages that she submitted as evidence, that first response, that show that she is the one who wanted the divorce. And that was after 4 years of marriage. So they were
And
only
this,
married 4 years.
right. So they weren't married very long. I think Bond, you said,
It
was
was
2.
two.
Their son was
Mhm.
2 when they divorced. And a lot of these court documents are basically going back and forth around the custody agreement with Bond, and child support money and that sort of the typical things that you would expect in a divorce settlement. So I'll quickly go through. I took notes. Took me so long.
Oh
I took
gosh.
notes around every single one. And what I'll do is I'll just go through briefly and just summarize what the court documents were about, as well as the dates of each of the court documents. So I'm just scrolling up here. I have 69 nice pages of just stuff that I've copied and pasted or wrote down around these documents. 69. So December 10th, 2012 was the first report that was given to the court, and it was just saying that there was an uncontested dissolution of marriage. And I said Heidi was the one to suggest divorce, and it states that she couldn't afford to file. December 20th, 2012, petitioner is Jim and the respondent is Heidi, is this annoyed me. So it was a request from Heidi to take Bond to New York on Friday, December 21st to December 23rd, to visit her mom who has cancer and her grandmother who is being taken off life support. Jim refused to allow it. The reason is that she took too long to get back to him about a holiday schedule. And he notes that, and in the documents, it also notes that Jim has taken Bond out of state and out of the country without permission. But Heidi never brought this to court. It also states that Jim never went to visit Heidi's family in New York. He just never wanted to visit. So it kind of makes sense why he was never very close to her family. And that he has vastly more financial resources than Heidi, and she could not afford to fight with the petitioner. So, and it has the court fees and the lawyer fees at the end of all of it. It's like thousands of dollars. Like, I had to bring my dog to the vet a few weeks ago, and it cost me like $1,600. I'm good financially, but it still was hard,
Well,
right?
they,
So this
it
is
ranges like $5,000 per um, hearing, just for the appearance, but all
mhm,
the behind the scenes. I mean, every phone call costs something. I mean, this was not a cheap divorce.
yes. And so it also says that Jim refused to allow Bond to go visit his dying grandmother being taken off life support and a great grandmother being taken off life support, and his grandmother was breast cancer because he already made plans to bring Bond to holiday festivities. This is in the official court documents. So then, in Heidi's response, she states that he has been continuing to harass her since July 9th, 2012. And I'll read some of what's in the documents. And I would share these documents with you, but I want to be extremely respectful to whoever sent us these documents.
Yeah.
So I'm going to request consent from this person every single time we share something new with you. I've requested consent to share some of the text messages that are detailed in these documents, and I've received that consent. So I will show you some of them just so that you guys can see with your own eyes and hear with your own ears exactly how manipulative and just absolutely mean Jim has been. Okay. And he paints himself to be a wonderful father. Oh, we love, we work well together. We are at the game together. No, 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 no. I don't know what the relationship was like recently this year, but as of like what, 2019?
No.
What was the last one? I know the
Um,
last one was in 2021, when Heidi was no longer. Oh no,
in,
2021. Yeah,
in
yeah,
August.
yes, in
Yeah,
August.
and then October.
Yes, and it is very interesting. And yes, we have been working very hard.
Yeah.
we we both have full-time jobs. I'll let you know. Full-time real jobs that we're actually paid for. So our evenings and weekends have been solely dedicated towards this. And this is not us complaining. This is just us saying this is how much we care about a case like this and how hard we work to be able to present this information in a fair and balanced way. I think that's of utmost importance to us. So we're so excited to share Heidi's part of the story for that reason. So Heidi gives us the example of ways that Jim has been harassing her since July 9th, 2012. James stole my car keys, rings, watch, 2 sets of earrings. He had done this before to teach her a lesson. He lied and said he didn't take them, and the next day he returned her car keys, but not her jewelry. So Heidi had to go to her attorney. So this is when they had separated, but she couldn't afford to live out on her own, so she moved into the guest bedroom or the best guest bedroom, I think, of the
Guest
house.
bedroom in
Yeah,
her his house.
because he wouldn't move out of the master bedroom. So she
Right.
got the guest bedroom. She had her own key to her room. And so someone was breaking in and stealing her stuff. And so she had her attorney ask, this is crazy. Like you're living in the same house. And so you're having your attorney ask for the jewelry back. And then later, Jim returned all but the earrings. And then a week later, Jim returned one pair of the earrings, but not the other. And then July 25th, so this is a couple weeks later, Jim didn't return the other earrings still. He still had her social security card, her tax returns, and her digital camera. He then took 2 of her leather jackets and didn't return them. And then someone broke into a room again twice, and Jim blamed it on the painter, Jose. Heidi later found a copied key in Jim's garage, proving that indeed it was him that broke into it. And then Jim would also throw her food in the fridge out and turn off the hot water. It's stated that he made at least $300,000 a year from the salon, and there are tax receipts to prove that. That's not including the cash tips that he received. And Heidi, on the other hand, earned around $4,000 a month as a real estate assistant. And then Jim also let Heidi spend all of 25 minutes with Bond on his birthday. So those are just some examples of the way that he's badgered her. In December 20th, 2012, and feel free to interrupt me, Dawn, if you have anything to add, because
Yeah.
and this is the beauty of us working together is I'll read the document with my eyes and then her with her paralegal eyes. She's like, she catches all the little details that I have missed. And I'm just like infuriated that Jim is so mean. And, Dawn is like legally calm and whatever. Well, sort of calm.
I'm not so calm.
We're panicking around this.
I mean, it's clear to me now that I've had an opportunity to read all of these court papers from 2012 to present, that Heidi was constantly badgered, emotionally abused, and completely under Jim Wayne's control emotionally, at least. He held her son over her head and tried to tarnish her reputation, the hard work she was doing. He went back to the court and denied that she was doing any of it. And her values as a mother, I mean, that really is clear from the text messages and the proof and evidence she submitted to court. It's very clear that she was daily trying to get in touch with her son, talk to her son, see her son. Time didn't go by where she went off and messed around and didn't care about her kid.
No. This whole thing is around her son.
Yes.
It just shows how much she loves her son.
I mean, so, and these are all examples, that were her side of it is just, it upsets me greatly.
Yeah. So the documents then go to discuss the child support, how much they pay each other, the equal division of the home, granted the sale. Even in the time that Jim refuses to allow Bond to visit grandma, they brought this to the court, and the court actually said, and I quote, "The court does not have time nor the resources to deal with such a frivolous matter." Okay, so even the court was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, just let the kid go." Like, it was 2 days that Heidi wanted the kid to go visit his dying grandmother and great grandmother. Rejected.
Yeah. Although we see as we go down the line that he did go even out of the country with him.
Yes, I mentioned that with Jim without permission.
Right.
So, and you see this all the time throughout the documents is that Jim, whenever something is he feels is unfair, he brings it to the court, he files it with his lawyer, and Heidi just texts him and say, "Hey, like that's not cool, like please don't be late." Instead, so Jim is bringing this to the court, he's making this it's like him telling the principal every time she does something wrong, whereas Heidi's just trying to deal with this in a civil way. You know, she even says quite a few times, like, can you please just, cooperate? Like, can we just attack this in a cooperative manner? And, he completely denies her. So, they discuss child support, and then there is a small period of time where uh, Jim is granted sole physical custody for bond until Heidi got counseling and a place to live. Now, this is in response to the big thing that we've heard about of her trashing Bond's room and then what going on the roof naked.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about me, but I'm sorry, I don't know about you, but I didn't see anything about that detailed in these court documents. Did you?
Well, I did see, yes. I saw his Jim's declaration
Mhm.
that um, did mention that incident, although it varies slightly from what we've heard in the media, or what it came down to in the media. But there was nothing submitted. So there was no police report submitted, no evidence of a police report that she was arrested.
So I'll
And they said
share
the
this
police
this bit.
came. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. They said the police came, but I haven't seen anything about that. Have you?
Is this the one that you're referring to?
Correct.
So let's read it together. The respondent, this is submitted by Jim, has a
Right.
history of acting out in volatile ways. Recently, when she believed Bond was not giving her attention when they were playing with Legos, she took the Lego they were working on and threw it at the wall. A similar action led to her nervous breakdown. The day she was placed in a psychiatric ward, respondent wanted to hold Bond's hand. He did not want to, and respondent could not handle it. So, just in the way this is written, just keep that in mind. She requested petitioner to make Bond hold her hand. We're assuming that Jim may have actually been the one to bring her to the psychiatric ward, given that he's mentioned here. But that's, we can just assume that based on this.
We don't know because
We don't
of
know.
course, that by HIPAA regulations, we can't have access to any of that. And he hadn't submitted anything to court state with any proof. If these are, it was his
No
declaration.
proof. Yeah,
That's
no
all we
proof.
have so far.
So she requested petitioner to make Bond hold her hand, then had to leave the store when they became too upset. Furthermore, recently while playing a game of Nerf guns, she did not have Bond wear the protective gear and shot him with a Nerf gun bullet in his eye, then made fun of him for it. What a monster, right? Playing Nerf gun and shooting him in the eye. And then she had been kicked out of restaurants for her violent actions while in the presence of Bond. Further, the night she was taken away, she destroyed Bond's room and then climbed out of the window to escape, all while Bond was present. Therefore, a history of abuse in the form of mental distress has consistently been present, and factor B is met. Not blah blah. Let's see.
So
Respondent was playing Nerf fun, right?
do you have a response to that?
Yes.
Handy. Okay.
Well, okay, hold
It's
on.
in there. I know. It's no, her response to the court. Oh yeah, I
Okay.
guess.
Well, so I have let's see.
Let me see if I can.
I'm going to stop sharing my screen because just for a second, we don't need to see all of this, but there are tons of text messages that Jim submitted. But yeah, if you could find the
Sure.
legal response.
Yeah.
You have the legal response?
I'm looking right now.
So here are the text messages they exchanged on the day of the event. Or sorry, not the day, but in response to the event. Yeah. So she says, Jim, please know that I'm mentally sound and not on drugs or drinking alcohol. I have undergone an MRI brain scan at Cedars, had a psychologist evaluation at a mental hospital, and was released early, and then had the BH paramedics take my blood Thursday and Friday, which was tested for alcohol, and drugs. You have no reason to fear for Bond's safety. All of the above is on record, I promise. Please have him call me and let's move on for Bond's sake. I have no reason to lie to you. You can check all the above. My legal name is Heidi Plank Wayne, and everyone seems to think we're still married, so I'm sure you can go access my records if you call. I can send pics of the reports too if you feel safer having him call me. I don't mind. I'm not hiding anything. He doesn't respond to any of her messages. He just says, this is the plan. This is for Bond. Like, please agree to understand. Like, he is absolutely badgering her through this. And on top of that, we can only assume that he is the one who released these documents to the press, only his side of the
Right.
story, not her response, which was very detailed, very clear, and very well written. So let me know if you can find them, Dawn.
I'm
Otherwise, I think I might
Yeah,
be
I
able
know. I
to.
found it. I'm just, it's very long. It's very,
It
lots
is
of
very
pages.
long.
So I'm just looking
Yeah.
for her exact response to that situation. Okay, here it is. Declaration of Heidi Planck. Actually, this kind of covers most of it. So I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
go. It should be on the screen. Oops, it should be on the screen now. Can you see that?
Yeah. Can you zoom in a little bit on the bottom right of your Word document?
Oh, it's not a Word. It's a PDF. So, but I
Oh,
can make, oh yeah, I
okay. It
probably
looks
can.
like a Word
Hold on.
document.
Is that too big?
No. So we're seeing the Word document right now.
Aha. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. All right. Let me.
Hey, Gavis.
Hi,
And
Gabba.
yes, Allie, it is heartbreaking to see how he treated her. Allie has seen the documents. She's seen the text back and forth, and she was also floored. Here we go. Go for it, Dawn. Let's make
Okay.
sure her voice is heard.
Declaration of Heidi Planck. I, Heidi Planck, declare I am the respondent in this action. I have been married to petitioner James Wayne since August 8th, 2008. We have lived separate and apart since September 22nd, 2012. I am 29 years old and Jim is 54 years old. I have personal knowledge of the facts set forth below and have called as a witness. I can and will testify competently to the following. James and I entered into a marital agreement on or about October 15th, 2012. A true copy of this is Exhibit 1. It is my understanding that the MSA was lodged with the court on or about October 19th, 2012 by James' counsel, and that the parties are waiting for it to be entered as a judgment of dissolution. And then it goes on to talk about the custody schedule for their son.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, Bond.
So this is the stuff that I already went through in terms of how he's been harassing her,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
the
So you want
refusal of yeah.
Okay. Well, how about I'll start from here then, because you did go through all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I have custody of Bond Wednesday, December 19th through 7 p.m. on Sunday, December 22nd. I would like to take Bond to visit my grandmother from Friday, December 21st to Sunday midday, December 23rd. I do not want to be at risk of violating the MSA by taking Bond without permission. I would have taken Bond to New York Wednesday or Thursday until Saturday had James not refused my request for travel. While James and I were married, I took Bond to Buffalo to visit my family and friends on at least 4 occasions. James never objected to my taking Bond by myself, as James never wanted to visit my family. James never told me that I was irresponsible with Bond when we traveled or expressed any concern for Bond's safety and welfare. I would like to travel to Waterville, that's what you were saying, to see her grandmother.
Yeah. And I do have my notes on exactly her response
Okay.
to, so this is November 5th, 2015. So this is in response to the temporary sole physical and legal custody that Jim did get. And so we don't know who actually took her to the hospital. but she willingly, or she must have willingly went or was admitted, whatever the case is. But he received temporary sole physical and legal custody, and this was the court who said this, because in 3 months we're going to have a hearing. I'm going to want to see and hear what it is you've done to follow up, because if you're making progress and you've stabilized your life, my expectation is that there will be more time with bond and you can get back to a situation where you want to be in. So those are the words of the court. So Heidi says she's never struggled with substance abuse, legal or illegal. The court suggested she seek counseling, which she continues to do. She was diagnosed with ADD at 14 years old, and for the past 6 years, she saw the same physician for ADD. The doctor confirmed, he wrote a letter, it's in the documents, that she's never abused substances and takes it by prescription only, and that it's an outlandish claim. She requested to lift monitoring requirements for all visits and denied Jim's request to submit to random drug testing and attend a 12-step program to see a drug specialist. So again, this is all Jim who's saying that she needs to go to a 12-step program. She needs to see a psychologist. She's agreeing to some of this just so that she can see Bond, even though she knows better, and so does her friggin' doctor. So she was briefly hospitalized in December 2015 and lived with a friend until she was able to secure a job. She began attending counseling 2 to 3 times per week. Jim said she canceled 16 therapy sessions, which Heidi says doesn't mean her attendance is inconsistent, given it's been a year and a half. And for anyone who's gone to consistent or regular, counselor visits, like, you know what it's like to, oh god, I have to travel to this place. Like, yeah, once in a while you're going to cancel those appointments. It doesn't mean that you're not committed.
13 times, and it was because the counselor had to cancel, not because she had to cancel.
Yeah, it was 16 times.
16 times.
Just
they were rescheduled.
Yeah, they were rescheduled
on her part. Mm-hmm.
So it was an isolated incident of a nervous breakdown in 2015, and I'll show you some of the, or did I show the text messages around that? If not, I'll show them.
Yeah. Please do.
Jim said that Bond and her were kicked out of Fatburger. Heidi says she's never even been in a Fatburger in her life. And also her visits were all monitored, so it would have been impossible. He would have been the one monitoring them.
That's so big. I just want to say right now, that is huge. That is huge. The fact.
So explain why that's huge.
Okay, so when the court appoints supervised visitations to a parent, for the most part, they go through and they have a list of counselors or supervisors that they can choose from. And usually the person who's being supervised is also the one who pays for it. So when they were going, this is all documented. So when they were going through the list, Jim chose the most expensive one. And she said, no, I can't afford that. And he said, well, sorry, that's the one I want. And that he insisted on it. And she said, I can't afford it. I can't do it. So went back to court and asked if he wanted to be the supervisor for these visitations. So he personally, and she did not want that. He was a supervisor for all of these visitations. So she got no time with him without Jim being around. She got so many. I mean, the ones that were just shown, and she said there are more, but I would have a nervous breakdown too.
Yeah, I would absolutely too. And she actually says that in a text message that I'll show you. Yeah. So Jim also alleges that she was fired from some jobs, but that never happened. In fact, she had turned down 2 job offers. Like, they were all coming to her to work for them, and she said no because she chose to go for another job or something.
Right.
Jim also said that Heidi shot a Nerf gun at Bond's face. In fact, she was the one, and she provided receipts where she was the one to buy him a protective face mask from when they play Nerf War and insist that Bond wears it. Mm-hmm. Jim also said that Heidi pulled her shirt down to catch the Nerf gun thing or whatever, and that it was inappropriate. He submitted this in a court document. And he also said that it was inappropriate inappropriate for her to sleep with Bond in the same bed. Like, I can imagine any mother having, you know, a young child, like, yeah, you're going to cuddle up sometimes in the same bed. That's not inappropriate. However, she responds and says, well, you guys do it at your house too with your new girlfriend, Maria. And Jim also told Bond repeatedly that Heidi lived in a tent and that she was sick and that she was crazy. So I can't imagine what not Heidi was going through, but Bond, her
Well,
son.
and the thing is that when Bond asked her, "Hey, mom, what is a homeless person?" and she asked, you know, after when she was dropping him off after the visitation, or actually after the visitation was over, I guess it was on the phone. So she called him and said, "We have the text messages." She text messaged him and asked, "What are you saying to our son? Why? What is this about a homeless person?" And then he said, "The world isn't everything. Not everything's about you, Heidi. Stop being this way." And well, I mean, we can show the text message. I don't want to put words in her mouth, but basically, by that point, she was programmed to be, you know, defensive. At least.
Oh, he badgered her. There are like,
I
I don't
mean,
know, probably
he messed with her
30
mind.
pages of just text messages.
And she's at the point, you know, in 2015 where all she can do is defend at this point. She can't even fight. All she's doing is defending.
Yeah, I'll show you an example of like just one of the text messages that they have shared together. It has been brought to my attention, this is Jim, that you have been visiting the house at 1224 North Ogden whatever Drive in West
Ogden.
Hollywood. Yeah,
Ogden.
sure. You're in that world. I'm in Vancouver, so you can pronounce all of them.
It's not
During
too
the
far
times
from
that I
where he
am
lives
not
now.
at the property, this is not acceptable, nor is it tolerable. I've made a formal complaint and a formal report with the West Hollywood Sheriff's Department. Do not step 1 foot on my property. You are not allowed to step on the property. The police will be called and you will be arrested and removed from the property. She said, that's a lie. I've never been to your property. Besides drop off, I'd like to see some evidence beside your insane claims. That's the last place I'd want to be if I didn't have to. Well, who said you had to? You don't. There are cameras just so you were put on notice. I have to drop Bond off. Please, if you have cameras and it would show that I've not been there, please stop harassing me. The cameras just got put in and you don't have to step my property at all. Thank you for getting cameras. They'll prove you're making false claims. Coming from someone who drives down my street, this is laughable, but thanks for the laugh. Have a good day. Like, you can tell at this point, she's like, are you kidding me? And
Yeah.
honestly,
And
after
every
reading all
time
these text messages, she is being very kind, very forthright, thanking him,
he
even
sucks
though,
it up so often.
oh my God,
And through
this is
all
a
of this,
warning, not harassment.
every day through all of this, please have Bond call me. She tries to call and they don't answer. Please have Bond call me. Numerous times, almost every day. For how long did this go on?
Oh man, it's
There
crazy.
was one time
Like, and
she didn't hear or see from Bond for almost a month, and because they were out of town, he flew, I can't even remember where it was, but out of the country with Bond.
yeah.
And he's like, "I didn't tell you because they didn't want you to get all crazy."
So here's the time where in the incident, um, I take this is no joke. I take Bond's safety very seriously. There's a court order in place, and I will not violate the order in any way, shape, or form. This is after he submitted that thing that we already talked about. Took several days to get Bond to feel safe and secure. I will talk to my attorney and discuss FaceTime or a phone call, and which is better. I'm assuming this is for Bond to communicate with his mother. Make no mistake, Bond's safety is paramount to me. Do not come near Bond. Do not go by a school or my house. I will call the police and use the law to the fullest extent. I will contact you tomorrow with all the specifics. I'm not joking. I do put Bond's safety first. I will be at the chapel tomorrow. Please drop Bond off at my place. He had not served her official papers. He never did that. What did he do? He submitted them to the court or something? Like, they had to be served.
He told the court that he served her, and then after the fact, I mean, he may have sent an email to her, but who knows if it was we don't have any way of knowing. She is claiming that she never got served, and then after the fact, after the hearing, he said, "I did too. Here, look," and then he text messaged. He sends her a text message with a picture.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah. Please read this so you understand. You can't send that stuff via text or email, is what she
Yeah,
says.
she's trying to, oh no,
Like,
he's not
please
having any of
serve
that.
me properly. you know, I want him to call. I miss him terribly. Like, this is crazy. Thank you for even after all this, thank you for the update for the child psychologist. Can you please send me the name of the child psychologist? No response. I would really like to speak to Bond. No response. Please send the name for no response. Like, as a mother, she's getting absolutely nothing from her son. She's not being able to call
She's not
him.
even getting the court ordered 6 hour a week visitation that's already killing her
Can I
heart.
please speak to
So
Bond?
she's not even getting that. And he does it whenever he wants to.
As I explained to Stephen, you are violating every legal right of mine in our separation agreement. You've really dug yourself into a deep hole. Traveling, school, doctors, extracurricular activities all require my signed off approval. I have proof and my own text messages that show you've never honored the terms. And she never brought this to court, probably because she couldn't afford it. But regardless, she never did. Drop on off tomorrow, please. We're not fighting for or we'll be fighting each other for full custody. I want nothing more for Bond to spend equal time. Like let's not behave like this. This is not a threat, Jim. Like, please, it's in his best interests. Like, trying everything.
Yeah.
Everything
Well,
to
he
just
finally
have
got
some
it after she
time.
went missing, right? He finally got it.
Right. So that's another thing is
6
let's
days.
talk about that ex parte order. So what did you discover yesterday from reading that?
The ex parte? Which part of
Yeah.
it?
Well, the part
There's
where
been so much.
he to the press. Now I don't know if these were his words, but what's been passed around in the press is that what is the reason that he got the emergency
Oh, to get
order?
right, to get emergency counseling because Bond was in such distress that he needed immediate counseling. Happens that Bond has been in counseling for quite some time, on and off, and the in 2015, actually, how he was what young, so 6 years ago, so he was only 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Around between 5 and 6, and there's counseling notes in there. But as far as this new one,
Mm-hmm. October 26th,
yeah.
2021. So
Okay, hold on. Yeah, go ahead. Which part of it? Because there's so
well,
much.
I was just going to say what you told me yesterday. He didn't actually need
Oh no,
full
yeah, he did it.
custody
No,
for
no,
emergency care.
correct. Because it was already in there. It was already in their dissolution, the judgment. There was already a judgment saying that either parent is required, not can, is required to get emergency care for the child in any event that there is an emergency. I mean, it specifically states that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was already in there.
It was already in there. He
In their
didn't need
judgment.
it. So he's,
He did not need it.
at the very least, taken advantage of this situation.
At the
At
very
the very least. Now, I don't know anything else. We have no evidence of anything else. But what I also wanted to say, or I wanted to show you guys, first of all, a photo that Jim's new fiance, well, not new fiance, I think they've been engaged for about 5 years now. But this was a photo that was posted on October 31st as her cover photo. So that's them walking through the forest. Love this.
12,
Thinking of
13 days after
you.
she went missing. Yeah.
What a great picture of your sweet family. You look so happy. Great picture. I love this. Don't really seem to be, I don't know. People grieve in different ways, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really seem like they're too unhappy right now. But again, that's a snap judgment. I don't want to, throw blame at anyone. But also, I wanted to show Jason Galanis. So, Jason Galanis. Oh, hold on. I'll pause that for a sec.
Are you going to go into this right?
Yeah, well, I just
Are you
wanted
ready
to
for
do
this?
just as an aside,
Okay.
because this was shared on TikTok and was sent to us, but what, a couple weeks ago? And I was like, Galanis, God, I wonder if they're related. And then I just kind of forgot about it. But I thought this just was interesting because this indeed is Jason Galanis's, who
I
was
followed up
ex-business
yesterday, and it
partners.
absolutely 100% is verified. Yes, it's his
Yeah,
brother.
this is 100% verified, but I didn't know this until today when I asked Dawn. I'm like, really? This is him? And she's like, yeah, I sent that to you. It's like, I'm sorry. I just,
There's
I
so much
so much,
information.
there's
Yeah,
so much information. But
there
I
is.
just thought, given the fact that we just saw the many of the court documents, and like, again, there are hundreds and hundreds of pages that we've painstakingly gone through. And essentially, it briefly talks about the incident that's been passed around, that everyone thinks that she's a drug addict, that she was at the Hope and Flower building to pick up drugs. Like, first of all, the drugs she was using were ADD drugs. And you don't get that. You don't go
It was
downtown, drive an
prescribed
hour.
medication. It wasn't
Yeah,
illegal drug use.
you don't go downtown in an alley to get that. You go to your friggin' doctor. Okay.
And
So
she submitted something to the court from her doctor saying, yes, every 30 days she gets 30 or however many.
yeah,
And that's never been an issue. So
no. And he could lose
she
his
never
license
asked
over
for
that.
more. She never had 3 prescriptions at 3 different pharmacies. All this other stuff that was being said, there is documentation that she provides. And if you're not going to hold her weight of documentation, how can you hold Jin's, is what I'm saying.
Right. And
So
he
she
submitted
refutes it.
no proof. He says, even in his declaration of her being unsound, he's like, she's showing signs of depression and anxiety.
I would too.
According to who?
Someone was putting me
According
under
to you,
stress.
who you're not a psychologist, you're a hairdresser. And you can see his, not to say that poor grammar is any indication of intelligence or whatever, but it certainly indicates that you may not have read the DSM-5. Just kind of put it out there. You may not have, been formally trained as a psychologist if you can't determine which you're to use in a sentence. Just putting it out there. And at this, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm looking at the chat, and I have some people who really kind of want to hear some theories. And I see somebody. Could we take a call?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Let's see if I have. There's a StreamYard link.
That one right there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you want to call
So
in.
as we wait for the call, if you guys want to call in and share your theories or ask any questions, we can certainly answer them. But I will just play this TikTok video. This is Jason Galanis's brother, who was I don't know if he was arrested or like put on in trial for the tribal bond scheme. Okay, so not that this is super related, but it just if your own brother is saying this about you, you have to think about, what kinds of people Sugarman hangs out around. And we also have found out that it's highly likely that Jim had
they know
relationships of some sort. They knew each other for sure.
They knew the same people. They know the same people. They run in the same circles. I don't think we're getting audio on that.
Oh, there's no audio?
No.
Okay, hold on. The audio is the most important part of that screen, so I'll just reshare. I always forget to click share system audio. Here we go. Let's try this again, shall we?
Okay, so the latest news on Heidi Planck is they're describing her as mentally imbalanced and a psychopath. Yeah, I guess that fits the narrative because they don't want it brought up that Hunter Biden was involved in the same Indian bond fraud that Jason Sugarman, her boss, was involved in. Just another cover-up. They're going to say, yeah, crazy woman finally let loose, as if a lot of people don't have issues like that, and they don't go missing every day, and they certainly aren't employees of a guy like Jason Sugarman involved in the case with Hunter Biden. Really sad. The truth can never come to light in this stuff because it would collapse the establishment. They're not going to let poor little Hunter suffer over some wacko Sugarman's idea to murder his ex-employee. It's too bad. Okay.
So it's outlandish, I'll admit.
It is, but I did check this out, and it is true. There are ties to Hunter Biden as far as the tribal bond scheme. The definitely ties. And I won't say anything more than that because I just don't think it's appropriate to. And I value my own safety. So I'm going to leave.
Hi, Alyssa.
Hey, honeys. So, what do we know about Jim's fiance?
Not a whole lot.
Not
Like,
much.
does she have her own children?
No, that we know.
Can she have children? Is
That
my question.
I don't know if she can.
Because it seems like Jim's trying to build this perfect happy family with her and excluding Heidi. I've seen a lot of Lifetime in my days. But it
Yeah,
could be a theory that she can't have kids, desperately wants children. Jim's trying to fulfill
is-
her
I mean,
every
I've seen
little
that.
whim.
I have seen that particular instance almost verbatim
It's
happen.
crazy.
That has happened to somebody that I know. Yeah.
And it may sound
Yeah.
outlandish to a lot of people, but when you're that desperate to have kids and you can't,
Right.
sometimes people will do anything.
Well, what did we see with Cleo? Right?
Look at that.
Everyone thought, oh, there's no way some random stranger went in and picked her up from, I don't know if you guys have heard of the story, but we kind of covered it, where like someone literally went in, this man who's obsessed with Bratz dolls, and not shaming the doll community, but like just saying he was odd, just odd. And I think being weird is a good thing, but there is a certain flavor of weird that is off putting. And this man went in Cleo's tent with her parents sleeping right next to them and a baby, and picked her up, scooped her up with her sleeping bag, and brought her home, and then dressed her up and bought her diapers and just kept her in a
Like
room
the little doll.
Like a
like a
little
doll.
living doll.
So
Yeah.
it happens.
It does happen.
But I'm wondering if this was Jim's way to make it a reality. But you never know.
It's a theory. I mean, at this point, honestly, after seeing these court documents, I went from there's no way a husband could do anything to harm the mother of his child to I think this guy would go and do anything to gain full custody of a son. The fact that he spent that amount of money going to court and submitting these
On
frivolous,
issues.
ridiculous
Sometimes.
issues.
Right.
The grandmother thing right up on the screen. Before are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? She asked for 2 days to go visit two people who were dying. And he refused because he had holiday festivities already planned.
That's
This is horrible. And yes, my heart goes out to Trey and his whole family
Mine
as
does
well.
too.
And like her mother who is having a hard time, and like literally her friends who are going out, the police are doing nothing.
Here's the thing is they all know the truth of who Heidi is. We are just finding out.
Right.
Yeah. And everyone's given Jim a voice.
And well, Jim has done nothing but direct the narrative. He has given the information to the media. The media has reported what they know, and what they know is what they've been told by Jim. And it was a very instantaneous type of reporting situation when she went missing. Of course, hopefully, you hope that's the case, right? Get the information out there as soon as possible. But as time goes on, you've got to verify that. And it doesn't look like that's been done.
We've only heard one side, and now you guys have done all the work, and you guys are finally putting forward a voice for her.
Yeah. Well, we're very, very lucky in that we've approached the case with a lot of respect and with a really strong desire to show all sides of the story and just present all the facts. And that can be absolutely frustrating to people. And just, people want you to choose something. Like our brains don't want to consider all the facts all the time. It's exhausting.
Yes. But
we're exhausted. But to be unbiased and, and present the facts in a fair and balanced way, you have to go down the avenues that you don't want to go down. So yeah, we had to go see, hey, did Heidi have a drug problem? I straight up asked one of her friends and she said, no, that's the first time I hear of it. So then I thought, it'd be really interesting to see the full court documents so we can see Heidi's side of the story. And it's very, very clear. And in fact, I would love, maybe as we finish off, if anyone else wants to call in, I'll put the StreamYard link there. But if not, maybe Dawn, could you? I really loved how you summarized the entire court documents. I even copied and pasted it, I think, in one of the documents that I have.
You want me to just read it? Like, I mean,
I would love. I mean, I have it up here too if you want me
okay.
to read it. But
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay. Heidi and Jim's character is Jim's character is clear from the text messages. Heidi was constantly badgered, emotionally abused by, and was in Jim Wayne's control. He held Bond, their son, over her head, did whatever he could to tarnish her reputation, hard work, and values as a mother on a consistent basis. Not just in the court, and this is me adding this, but publicly now. He has done that publicly. So is he involved? I don't know. But I certainly think he doesn't mind one little bit that she's gone missing.
I don't
And
either.
exactly.
And
And
he
I
points his
also,
finger at every single person, and he picks and chooses who to put the spotlight on and who not to. And
the spotlight has
and
certainly
I
not
hope
been
we
on
find
him.
the reason.
And usually
Yeah.
the ones who point the fingers that way are the actual culprits.
Well, that's why I say we plan on finding the truth.
And you guys will.
I certainly hope so. I think this
I
was a
hope the family
huge
deserves this.
absolutely. This is and I went back to the people who shared some of these documents with us, and like I said, I asked them for consent to share some of this,
Mhm.
and they said yeah, her side of the story needs to be told. It's absolutely infuriating. It's not fair.
I need to say something along those lines. So it's very upsetting. We've been talking to some of the family members, and it's very upsetting that the family is not the one who is in control or who's helping manage, or the direct contact for Heidi's case. It's her ex-husband,
Which is crazy to
mom.
me.
Why mom has some, apparently, she has some contact with them, but nobody is the voice for Heidi, or the person that is taking care of. They're not the go-to person. The ex-husband is the go-to person. The ex-husband that she has been in court fighting over paternal rights, or I'm sorry, fighting over paternity of her, custody of her child. Some of my brain is jelly at this point. And I just think that the family deserves that respect. And not just me, who cares what I think? They do deserve that respect.
Mm-hmm.
They should have a say in whether they are okay with who's in charge of Heidi's missing persons case.
Yeah. It's devastating to read that. I'm not even a mother. I'm an aunt, Auntie Momo. But it was devastating reading this. Like it brought me tears, honestly, to see what she's been through over the course of those many years, just trying to get her
Absolutely.
life together, trying to just live in peace, like to be able to pick her son up every, she took cabs to go visit him when she didn't have a car. She, when
She
Jim
went from being
couldn't
kicked out.
afford to
Mhm.
yeah, when he couldn't
Went from
afford
being kicked out of his their home, right? Because she was in the
guest
guest
bedroom.
bedroom.
Mhm.
Went from being kicked out and having no place to live to get, renting our own apartment, having our own transportation. And this is like, what, less than 6 months? Maybe? I think it was 6 months after she lost everything. She was already on the road to get it back.
Yeah.
She has worked.
It was very quick, a quick turnaround.
Hard.
Yeah.
She just wanted to be a
A
mother.
lot of things that the courts demand are very hard for parents because they are in situations like that. She absolutely 100% did everything they wanted, everything Jim wanted. And it was like, nah, nothing. What are you talking about?
And then, of course, now everyone's theorizing that, oh, she was just a drug user. She was a drug addict. She went down an alleyway.
I want to say that out loud. This is not true. It has not been proven. Therefore, it is not true.
There's no documents. She got a brain scan, drug test. He submitted her to random drug tests. He wanted her to go to a 12-step program. Like at this point, like if I saw him in public, I would be so mad. And of course I wouldn't do anything because I'm not a violent person.
Even though it wasn't true, she still did everything she could to fulfill it. And she did continue, even though it wasn't true.
And was
That was
kind
her
to
son.
him. Kind to him in private
And
text
kind.
messages that he submitted and he
Yeah.
thought. And you know what? People have called him a narcissist after reading this. 100% he is a narcissist.
Absolutely.
So Jim, if you're watching, tell your true side of the story. Stop being
Right.
such a freaking coward. Like, that is horrible what he has done to not just Heidi, but her family, her
Yes.
son. It pisses me off
And
as
it
someone
does.
who cares
And the
for
family
humans.
that wants Heidi's side out now. The family,
Yeah.
and I will say this because this is exactly what I was told, and I was told I could relay this. The family wants Heidi's side out there now because this is wrong. She is not a drug addict. She was not a drug addict. She has no history of illegal drug addiction ever.
No
So,
schizophrenia, no psychosis. She's had brain
exclamation
scans,
point on that, please.
the whole thing. And
Yeah.
guess
Is
who
he
hasn't had to
under
go
a
through anything?
microscope at all from the police?
We don't know what the police is up to.
He's done a good job. But yeah, we don't know.
He has led, as we all know, the entire investigation, and we haven't seen a microscope, be held over him, just Heidi. But we can assume that there are things
Torn her
happening
apart.
in the background because the police have gone silent.
Right.
So I'm hoping that this means that they're working their asses off, trying to find out what's happened. And they have a lot more info than we think because they haven't released some of the videos that they got from the Hope and Flower building on the inside. We've seen the
Right.
video released by the random person who lived in
Across
the
street,
flower
in the
loft
aisle.
building. Yeah, but we've seen nothing from the police. So everything's been just submitted by either Jim, bought by the Sun or Daily Mail,
That's
and
exactly what
twisted
I'm
because
saying.
that's what they do. So hey, Daily Mail, if you'd like to send us
Yeah.
some money, we would love to send it back to the family or pay
110%.
for
Exactly.
Dawn's gas that she used to drive to the stupid Hope and Flower building to prove that it's
Expensive.
not.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's
So there's
so
another
sad.
cait that we'll probably check out.
Wait,
Christy,
what?
Here's another one.
So I mean, and this is exactly what we want to do. We want to
Yeah.
show the world that there are people who, and it's not just us, it's an entire team. Alyssa's part of that team. We have Allie here, we have CP21, we have lots of people on our Discord
So
that are
many.
working
Yeah,
to
not
find.
so many. We have a very small
Yes, right.
group.
Not a
and
ton of people because we
Yeah.
want to make sure that we have a trusted group of people who are a part of it.
Absolutely. So we can
So
share the
if
information
we
with.
can share
and
the
here-
information,
so
if
we
you
keep
want to
it
send us
small.
an email, I'll put the email in the comments.
Yeah.
And then you can send us an email and say why you'd like to join. But we really just want people who have their hearts in the right place and who are willing
you,
to
Danny.
contribute in a way that's helpful and honest. And we're not about spewing theories. And if we do share theories, we're very clear on which theories are theories, and it's what's speculation and what's not a fact. Okay, so that's how we approach it. It's not the way everyone approaches it, but it's something that Dawn and I are, and the entire team, Allie, everyone else, we're dedicated to doing on a regular basis and for every single case. So we're not taking 16 cases at once and just superficially looking at them. We like to dig in and really find all sides of the story, and that's exactly what we're doing here. And just because sorry to go on a monologue, but just because the news isn't talking about it doesn't mean we're not going to stop. We are monitoring a bunch of groups every single day, all the news outlets, the friggin' Social and Exchange Commission or whatever, Security and Exchange Commission of the US, to see if there's anything on that's out new, to be able to share with you guys the facts, the truth, and not bot stories, not fake stories, fake news that Jim has been sharing with the media. So let's get this out there, and absolutely, if you do have cases that require attention, we're happy to look into it. Just know that
This is
this is the one that we're focused on right now. Yeah.
But we are gonna, after this, we are gonna definitely, need something, and but we definitely need to focus.
We're not done for Heidi.
There's so much
No.
information.
This is we saw
this is not
this
an easy
and we
job.
wanted to get this out there because it's her side of the story.
Right.
But from these court documents, you better believe we have 50 tabs open at once, checking every single person who's named in there, all their addresses, vehicle information, finding out how they knew each other, when they were engaged, There's tons of stuff happening. So
yeah, and
even
don't get
though
me
it's
wrong,
quiet,
a lot of it we're not ready to put out there, because we like Mo was saying, we need back up all of our claims. Everything we say, we're saying because we have something to back it up with. We're not. That's what our basis is. We are
no,
very
we're never
ethical
going to
about it.
say anything in absolute terms unless we're
Right.
absolutely certain.
Correct.
All right.
And and if anybody at any time says, "Okay, where's the proof?" We are happy
We'll show you
to
the
pull it
proof.
out if it comes. If we bring it
If
up,
we get consent, because we will also only respect the families and whoever shared with us information with absolute respect, and consent is an ongoing process. I am a researcher at heart. That's the world I come from. Dawn comes from the legal portion of that, so it's even more consent based. So that's the way we operate, and it's not going to stop for anything. You could try and pay us millions of dollars, and it's just not going to happen. We value that. So, do you think I'd be
so,
able to call the police and press for answers?
I mean, you could try, but I mean, so let's, yeah. I think somebody responded. Ali responded, yeah, Trey. Let's talk privately about it, because I have a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Hey
Yeah.
guys, I'm gonna go so you guys can let more people in.
Yep. Sounds good. Well, I think we're going to wrap up anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because this is what we wanted to share. We got it out. You guys can digest it all. Like I said, I'll share our email in the chat. So if you
Yes.
want to email us and join the Discord, just say why. And if you have any special skills, we're always looking, if you're a car salesman or a police officer, we would love your help. It would be
Yeah.
nice
Yes.
if we could get people with special skills.
Charlie,
Or
you're-
yeah, hey. But yeah, so thanks for joining. Please.
Alyssa, it didn't. Number one, and number two, Tim, we don't know yet. Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry, Mo.
You're
Just trying to.
no, that's okay. That's okay. So we'll cap it off here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Sorry to dump this on you on a Monday, but we want the media to pick this up. We want her story to get out there as much as possible. As much as we have all of 200 followers on YouTube at the moment. I'm hoping that there's two degrees of separation for everyone at this point, given the magic of
We had a
social media.
little.
So
We had a little.
yeah,
explain
there
that
was a little
because
thing. Someone hacked into our YouTube and deleted all our
everything.
videos.
So when you see it only has like a couple views or whatever, like that's why, because we had
Yeah,
to post them from the very beginning.
someone hacked into our YouTube and was not. Anyway, we're also finding out at the same time that the true crime world on YouTube, which we are very new to, is pretty people
Yeah,
people are kind of mean. I don't know why.
Yeah.
We've only been kind.
And we will continue to only be kind, and then if
that's
we're really good at like
modus operandi
too. So
all right, guys, love you. We'll be
bye, everyone.
sharing more information very soon, I'm sure. But in the meantime, get some rest and have a wonderful evening.
Wonderful, wonderful night, you guys. Thanks. Bye.